everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's the final update of the Jane wig. She's done, and she's so cute. So in today's video, I'm gonna take you through where we left off, which is gonna be this upper part, the top and the front. I will make sure and give you directions and density, and make sure and watch part 1 and part 2 so you get an idea of coloring and all of that. I do go through and break that down. And then I'll also take you along on a field trip to my hairstylist where we'll get her cut and styled. So we got a lot to do today, so let's jump into it. Let's start with our directions and our density. So starting off with that top panel. You can see here that we did everything going down, and it kind of does this slight shift out. Now for density, I do double knots for everything on this section and below. And within each knot, we did 3 to 4-ish hairs. This allows us to spread out and go a little bit faster through the process. And for color for this section, we were doing all of our base with stripes of our lowlights. Now, let's talk about the top. Now for direction, instead of doing this entire horseshoe in single hair, single knot, I actually brought it in a little bit, and I continue the directions in the back going down just like we did with our back panel. But then we begin slowly taking everything out to where it turns around. Now for density, I did continue those 3 to 4-ish hairs up to that U shape, and we did do double knots. Once I reached that U shape, everything was single hair, single knot. This is the best practice when it comes to anything parting. For color here, you're gonna see all these spots. We are doing our base color, and then we're starting to add highlights. Watching meticulously how I am placing my highlights, which is why I started ventilating on that top U shape, to make sure I'm placing the highlights to where I'm not placing them directly in our part. I wanted to make sure and slightly take them off of the part, because we also were not going to do rooting on this wig. And finally, for the front. For our sides, I wanted to ventilate everything going down. What this does is it brings the hair kind of forward, and it honestly gives it a more swooped look that the hair naturally gives. But I also knew that we were doing a style where we had bangs, so having everything fit and frame the face, this type of direction is perfect. And then on top of that, here as our transition, all I did was do a diagonal going in towards our top direction. For our top here, I continued that cross knotting up until maybe a centimeter, and then I'll turn the wig around and ventilate back. The color is brought from that back area, and what that does is it's a beautiful ombre up to the top highlighted area, so it does give that deep into lighter look. And I love doing that. It just makes it so yummy. And then the color on top is exactly the same as our back. Highlights get a little bit smaller, and then we also have a money piece in that triangle. Everything in this section is single hair, single knot. Now it's time for finishing touches before we style her. First order of business is to cut the turnover everywhere we have double knots.
Taking thin slices of hair, about 2 inches big, we're going to heavily saturate our section, and we're going to use tension by pulling and then using our thumb to lift up that turnover. Then pulling up on the turnover and down on the strands we want to keep, you then cut them. Length is totally up to you and dependent on your build. For this build, I am only going to go from nape to crown and leave the perimeter. And the reason that you cut turnover is for movement and to make sure that your wig does not tangle up on itself. And be patient with yourself, this takes time to get good at.
I'm gonna take you on a field trip to my stylist, Caitlin, to get her cut and style. Now I know what you're thinking before we go. Morgan, you're licensed, you can cut and style, why are you taking it somewhere else? The best thing a wig maker can do is have a stylist that works with wigs in their back pocket. Because by the time you finish this wig, you have decision fatigue. And so it's really nice to have somebody to collaborate with, especially for cut and color. And to be honest, sometimes it's just fun to see people in your field and get to collaborate. So off we go. Let's get this wig cut and styled.
Heading over to Caitlin's salon, we chit-chatted while she cut and styled this wig to perfection. And it's time to head off.
She's ready to be packaged and sent to my client. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. If I have earned your subscription, a like, a comment, thank you. I'm so happy that you're here, and stay tuned. My next project for YouTube is to roll out wig courses. And what that means is we're going all the way back to ventilating. If you want to be notified on when that starts, hit that notification bell so you do not miss anything. And I want to thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.